Where do you invest when it comes to investing in property? What are the metrics that you look for? How do you decide whether it's a good area? How do you decide whether it's a bad area? What's the return on investment like? What's the cash flow going to be like? If it's a flip project, am I going to get decent enough profit margin at the end of it? I think most of the time it always depends on your strategy. So again, if you're looking to just continually do flips, that's a lot different than if you're just looking to go down your single, buy to let route and that type of thing, and hold forever. So again, it always needs to be pulled back to what your goal is, or what your particular goal is for that quarter, that year, for the next 5 years, and so on. Is it the nice lumps of cash? Is it the fairly passive income from rents? Is it a higher cash flow but a little bit of a noisy business through HMOs? So again, it's good when you're speaking to other property investors, but don't have that, what I'd call the shiny penny syndrome. Don't spend like a month or 2 months researching buy to lets, dipping your toe in the water there, and then being distracted by SA seems really really good. Everybody's doing that. The rent per week per month is fantastic. I'm going to do that. Oh no, wait, I've seen something on HMOs. Now I'm going to do HMOs. In fact, I want lumps of cash, so now I'm going to do flips. I think really whatever strategy you decide to go with, or whatever strategy that you're going to decide to go with moving forward, you need to spend time learning about it. And obviously, the more you learn about it, the more you should really be earning from that strategy as well. So for us, a massive part of our portfolio is buy to lets. We occasionally do flips and so on for the nice lumps of cash, but really, we're looking for the generational piece, the legacy type of piece. We're looking for, and again, one of the properties that we purchased in 2007, we purchased it for 60,000. Now, again, this is how daft we were. Didn't negotiate on price, offered full asking price. Um, didn't do any tenancy checks or anything like that back in the day. Just anybody with a pulse who had money there could go in. Didn't chase up late rent. Didn't really have a decent system for paying rent. Got cowboy builders in. Tried to cut corners as much as we can. And again, that's completely the wrong thing you should do. At the end of the day, the house is an asset and it needs to be treated like a business. As simple as that. So don't be thinking that you're just going to get into property for, it's easy money. Of course, there are harder ways to make money, and property, especially if you've done it, set it up properly in the first place, can definitely generate good, large lumps of cash, and the generational wealth piece and so on, and your passive monthly cash as well. But you need to make sure that you're following advice and doing your research specific to your strategy. So if I was starting again and I'm thinking, right, we're not going to do flips, I just want to buy a couple of properties, try and, learn the ropes a little bit. I'm going to hopefully then build up my rents and see how it goes. What I would do is, again, when I first started investing, Rightmove wasn't a thing. Wow, how old am I? You used to get the classifieds on every Wednesday in the local paper, and the classifieds would be obviously just a black and white printouts from each agent. These are the houses for sale available. A bit like if any of you can remember how Auto Trader used to be when you used to get the magazine, and you'd circle, this car this many miles, and this year and so on. It was the same for houses. Anybody that's under 30 now watching this, your eyes are going to be thinking, scratching your head, what's going on? So what I would do is now you've got the resources there. Rightmove on your phone, Zoopla on the market. I mean, I think Rightmove really is the £800 gorilla in the room. You can then have a look at how many properties there are for sale, what you're looking for. But if you're looking to rent, I'd also be thinking, right, if I'm looking to rent in my investment area, how many properties are there? So if it was a standard two-bed terrace, if I was looking to rent a property in the fact that I was a tenant, how many properties do I have to choose from? So we were looking into another area last week to maybe expand our investment area there. But we're looking at just two-bed terraces to start off now. There was 45 available and only 5 of them had let. And that was over a 4-week period. And that for us is quite bad. With our investment area now, we know that really we could have our best one has been that we'd finished it on the Thursday night, the refurb, and then moved in on the Friday. So you've always got to be aware of what's the demand like. And again, it's that economics 101, isn't it? Supply and demand. As the investor, you need to make sure that if you've got this property, you've got it over the line, you've done a refurb on it, and you're now going to look to rent it out, you need to be sure how long is it going to take to rent out. Again, there's changes in markets, but really somebody always needs somewhere to live. Simple. It's one of the basic, needs of life, shelter. So I would never be going into a market where there's way too many houses available and the tenants can pick and choose, because then uh, the rents are always going to be limited, aren't they? So, for instance, now in our area where we invest, a two-bed terrace, when we first started, again back in 2007, it was like 350, 375, 400. And then it's only really the last few years that it started to creep up, 500s and 600s. So now our two-bed terraces are between 850, 875, 895, and so on. However, in the new investment area we're looking at, they're 550, 575. So you've got to be aware of, what are the yields like and so on. So again, to go back to it, what I would look for now, if I was deciding on which area to invest in, what's the current rental market like? I'd probably call 5 or 6 estate agents, ask them the same questions. You know, um, how long are the properties staying on your books at the moment before they've gone? How many inquiries or applicants are you getting per property that comes available? And if I was to give you a property, how soon realistically would you think it would take until there's a tenant in? Now, experience tells me that they're going to be a little bit more positive and optimistic, which is good. So if they say, oh, we should have a tenant in within 2 or 3 weeks, double that. Okay. If they say, do you know what, it'll go straight away, again, give it 2 or 3 weeks. If they say, well, properties at the moment are staying on for about 6 or 7 weeks, I'd be thinking, do you know what, I don't really want that. It's just been empty during the refurb. I've had to pay for all the holding costs during the refurb as well. Um, I don't really then want to have best case scenario, a tenant moves in after 7 weeks, because it might end up being 10, 12, 14 weeks. And as you know yourself, the longer that property's empty, the more it's taken out of your margins, the more it's costing you to run that. Again, that's when it turns into a liability. So yeah, if you're looking to decide on a new investment area, see how long properties are staying on the market, see how many are available, see what the prices are and so on, but definitely speak to a few agents to get their opinion. So I went into 2 agents on Monday in a different area, and literally across the road from each other, I said, so a standard two-bed terrace, in a reasonable area, done up to a reasonable standard. I know it's quite vague, but just listen out. They said, yeah, we should be able to comfortably get 7, maybe 750, possibly 795 if it's good. I walked over the road and spoke to the same, sorry, said the same things to a different agent, and she said upwards of 1,000. So again, there's a big skew there. There's a £200 skew really, but it's like 20-25% different. So always do your research. You've got it now at your fingertips, really. I mean, get on your laptop, get on your computer, get on your phone, research as much as you can. But do not just jump into investing in property because your mate who you play five-a-side with, your mate who you go football with, your mate who who's your brother's partner's friend who works with them tells you to invest in that area. You do your research, educate yourself, and again, of course, property is forgiving, because if you do overpay and you do make a few mistakes, if you can afford out to ride out that and you're not relying on it to um, as a big part of your income moving forward, then I'm sure in 15, 20 years, definitely 30, the property will be worth more than you've currently paid for it now. I wish now I could go back to 2007, just before the crash, 2008, and buy as many properties as possible. Again, it's hindsight, isn't it? So, just before I finish off, I know I've jumped around in this video, but I hope it's helped somebody. If you are looking to invest in property, first of all, make sure you're educated, do your due diligence, watch YouTube videos, seek a mentor, speak to people that have been there. The fantastic thing with mentors is, if they're like me, which most of them should be really, they should tell you the mistakes that they've made and how you can avoid them. That's a key one. Definitely. Don't let them tell you all the successes. I'll be open and tell them all about my failures as well along the way. But the failures, when you learn things, that's why you think, you know what, I'm not going to fall for that again. So yeah, invest in a mentor. The return on investment should be fantastic. Make sure that you're researching the area properly. How many properties are available? How long are they staying available? The rents, what are they? Can they cover the mortgage costs? What's the cash flow like, and so on? If you're looking at a flip, it's very, very similar. You just speak to the agents then again and say, so if this property was really done up to a high standard, you explain the standard that you complete your properties to. What are we looking for? What would you expect us to gain for this? And again, if it's only an extra 10, 15, 20,000, I'd be thinking this is a no-brainer. Sorry, this is absolutely pointless. I'd be wanting the margin to be at least 35 to give me some wiggle room If it's less than 35, I wouldn't even really be bothering it really. So good luck. Keep taking steps further forward. If you do need any help, reach out. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. There's videos here on property investing, business, wealth, and obviously your mindset as well. Keep taking steps forward, everybody. Good luck.